That is the will of God for you. And I made mention last week, and I'm going to repeat it again. Just because something is the will of God for you, that doesn't mean it's automatic, because you have a sovereign will and then you have a selective will. God's sovereign will doesn't require human participation, meaning a human doesn't have to be consciously involved in something that's a part of God's sovereign will. But God's selective will, you and I have to be consciously involved in that. We have to intentionally be aware and be involved. And I used the example last week that God's will for you and his will for me is that we walk in righteousness. But just because that's his will, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, because you have to opt into that. You have to choose that. You have to make a conscious decision to what? To abstain from unrighteousness and what? Walk in righteousness. So we know there's a selection to the will of God. There is a human conscious participation in the will of God, and there's a sovereign will of God. That means there are certain things that are going to happen that no human will be conscious of their participation in, but God has chosen these things to occur. So it is God's selective will that you and I experience fullness. We have to opt into that. We have to choose to participate in that message. And we referenced that last week when we talked about the fullness of the gospel.